You think you know horror? You think you've seen it all because you binged a few seasons of jump scares and CGI monsters? Please, you're playing in the kiddie pool. You want the real nightmare fuel? You have to go back to 1959. Before the Demogorgons, before the Mind Flayer, before the mal was even a gleam in some capitalist's eye. We're going back to the source, the original sin of Hawkins, the Creel House Massacre. And let me tell you, the official police report from back then, it's a joke. It's a fairy tale compared to the sick, twisted reality of what went down at the dinner table. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we are about to dissect the disturbing, blood-soaked truth that Victor Creel took to his grave. And if you think you can handle looking into the eyes of true evil without blinking, well, hit that like button. But don't say I didn't warn you when you start hearing clocks ticking in your sleep. Let's set the scene. It's 1959, post-war America. Everyone is obsessed with the American dream. A nice house, a manicured lawn, a family that looks good on a Christmas card. Enter the Creels. Victor, Virginia, Alice, and little Henry. They move into this Victorian mansion in Hawkins. Victor thinks he's scored the deal of the century. He thinks he's bought a forever home with his great-uncle's inheritance. But here's the first red flag, folks. If a house looks like it was designed by Dracula's architect, maybe don't move your kids in. Just a thought. Victor sees a fresh start. Henry sees a playground, but not the kind with swings and slides. He sees a laboratory. While Victor is busy patting himself on the back for being a provider, Henry is in the walls, literally and metaphorically. He's finding spiders, black widows. He's not scared of them. He's fascinated. He thinks they are misunderstood. He thinks humans are the pests. Imagine being 12 years old and having the worldview of a nihilistic supervillain. That's Henry. He's looking at his parents, at their fake smiles, their perfect lives, and he just wants to vomit. He hates the routine. He hates the clock ticking. He hates the idea of waking up, working, sleeping, and dying. So he starts practicing. Number 1, the psychological torture. Before the bodies dropped, Henry started playing games. He didn't just want to kill them. He wanted to break them. He wanted to prove that their perfect little life was a lie. He started small. Dead animals, mutilated rabbits in the yard. Victor thought it was a bobcat. Virginia? She knew. MOMS always know. She looked at Henry, really looked at him, and she saw something vacant behind those eyes. She saw a predator. Then came the hallucinations. Henry figured out he could reach into their minds. He made Victor see things from the war. A baby burning in a crib. A shelling mistake he made in France. Imagine trying to eat your meatloaf while hearing the screams of a dying infant that only you can hear. That's what Henry served for dinner. He turned their sanctuary into a haunted house, and he was the ghost. He wanted them terrified. He wanted to feast on their fear like it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. And Virginia, she was the smart one. She tried to get help. She called a doctor, but not just any doctor. She sensed Henry was wrong, broken. She wanted to fix him. And that, my friends, was her death sentence. Henry couldn't have that. He couldn't let Mummy Dearest lock him away, or worse, cure him of his greatness. So he decided it was time to end the charade. Number 2, the dinner from hell. It's November. The table is set. Alice is probably talking about school or dolls or whatever normal kids talked about in the 50s. Victor is trying to keep it together, trying to pretend the radio isn't turning on and off by itself. Virginia is tense. She knows Henry did something. She knows. Then the radio goes haywire. Distorted jazz music. That song, Dream a Little Dream of Me, it starts warping, slowing down, turning into a demon's lullaby. Victor goes to turn it off, but he can't. The lights flicker, and then, thud, Virginia's face hits the soup. Victor thinks she fainted. He rushes over. Virginia, honey? And this is where Henry stops playing games and starts playing God. He lifts his hand under the table, just a twitch. And Virginia, she doesn't wake up. She rises. She levitates out of her chair. Can we pause for a second? Imagine seeing your wife floating in the dining room. You don't think psychic, son. You think demon. You think Satan. Victor is screaming. Alice is screaming. And Henry, he's sitting there, probably chewing his peas, watching the show. He's the director, and this is his masterpiece. Virginia's body contorts. Her bones snap, 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 like dry twigs. Her jaw unhinges. And then, the eyes, They get sucked back into her skull like they're being pulled by invisible hooks. Blood everywhere. It's not a murder, it's a desecration. Henry drops her body on the floor like a broken doll. Number 3. The scapegoat. Victor grabs the kids. He's in survival mode. He thinks he needs to get them out. He grabs Henry and Alice and runs for the door. But the door won't open. Of course it won't. Henry locked it with his mind. Victor is banging on the wood, screaming for help. And then Henry decides to have a little more fun with Dad. He sends Victor on a trip. He throws him back into his worst nightmare. The war. The burning house in France. Victor isn't in Hawkins anymore. He's surrounded by fire and ash, believing he's the reason an innocent baby died. He's trapped in a loop of his own guilt. While Victor is stuck in PTSD land, Henry turns to Alice, his own sister. Did she bully him? No. Was she mean? Probably not. She was just there. She was weak. She was normal. And to Henry, that was a crime punishable by death. So he kills her. Same way. Snap, snap, eyes gone. Number 4. The coma act. This is the part that proves Henry is a genius sociopath. He doesn't just walk away. He knows he can't explain this, so he pushes himself. He exerts so much power that he passes out. When Victor finally wakes up from his trance, he comes back to a slaughterhouse. His wife is a pretzel. His daughter is gone. And his son? His poor innocent son is lying there comatose. The police arrive. And what do they see? A man covered in blood, screaming about demons, and a surviving son who looks like a victim. It's the perfect frame job. Victor Creel goes down for the crime of the century. They say he snapped. They say he went crazy and gouged their eyes out. They lock him up in Penhurst Asylum, where he spends the next 30 years listening to spiders and wishing he was dead. Victor Creel wasn't the monster. He was the ultimate victim. He was the fall guy for a PRE-teen antichrist. By the way, if you're enjoying this dive into the abyss, make sure you subscribe. We're digging up all of Hawkins' dirty laundry, and you don't want to be the only one who doesn't know what's coming. Now, let's talk about what happened after the bodies were carted away. This is the part the newspapers didn't cover. Henry didn't just die a week later, like Victor thought. Oh no. He woke up in a hospital bed, but not a normal hospital. He woke up to Dr. Martin Brenner staring down at him. Imagine that conversation. Brenner walks in, clipboard in hand, looking like the coldest man on earth. Henry, he says, you had quite a night. Henry looks at him. He's weak, but he's still arrogant. They were weak, Papa. They were pests. Brenner doesn't flinch. And you? Are you strong? I am the predator, Henry says, probably thinking he sounds cool and edgy. I am the spider. Brenner nods. Predators need to be controlled, Henry. Uncontrolled power is just chaos. I don't want control, Henry spits back. I want to reshape the world. I want to burn your clockwork society to ash. Interesting. Brenner says, probably scribbling subject 001 psychotic but promising on his chart. But first, we need to see what you can really do, without killing yourself in the process. This is where the deal with the devil was made. Brenner faked Henry's death. He told Victor his son died of a coma. He erased Henry Creel from existence. And in his place, he created the first number. The template. The lab wasn't built to find Russians or explore space. It was built to contain and replicate Henry. Every other kid in that rainbow room 2, 8, 11, they were all just Brenner trying to photocopy a masterpiece. But you can't copy Henry. You can only dilute him. Henry became an orderly because Brenner realized he couldn't control a shark, but he could maybe use it to train the minnows. Or so he thought. He put a chip in Henry's Nexoteria to dampen the powers. He turned a god into a janitor, and Henry waited. He swept the floors. He watched the kids. He groomed them. He waited for 20 years for someone stupid enough or powerful enough to help him rip that chip out. Enter 11. But that's a story for another video. Let's go back to Victor for a second. Think about this man. He spends decades in a cell, listening to the screams of the insane, believing he failed his family. He believes a demon killed them. He doesn't know that the demon was his own flesh and blood. He doesn't know that his son is out there, getting stronger, building a dimension of rot